Hi there, my name is John Stevens, pastor of Zion Lutheran Church in Oregon City, Oregon, and we're part of the ELCA, and welcome to Dollar Store Children's Sermons, where we take a look at the lectionary text, we tie them to an item from the Dollar Tree. This is for Transfiguration Sunday, the Sunday coming up, and we are looking, of course, at the Gospel text. This is for the Revised Common Lectionary and the Narrative Lectionary. And I'm looking at the theme, in Transfiguration, I'm looking at the theme that on the mountain we get a closer look at God. We get a closer look that God, through Jesus Christ, wants to come to us, wants to be close to us in a way that we've never seen before, really. We've seen glimpses of it at the baptism of the Lord, the same voice that broke through the heavens and said, "You are my son," in one gospel, and "This is my son," in the other. And here, we get, the disciples get to see it, they get to witness it, and it's miraculous, and it gives them a glimpse of to seeing a God that they haven't seen before, or that they know, but this is in a new and a special way, and it's like a close-up, if you will, on God. Now, a lot of the times on this text, in the children's sermon, I'll do stuff around light. Transfiguration, he was transfigured before them, and it's brilliant and it's bright. You can look at past children's sermons if you want for that. But the item I'm using, it has to do with looking up closer and almost like measuring. You know, it's like they measure God with Jesus, and it's this whole idea of that this is seeing things in a new way. And so the item I'm using, I looked for a magnifying glass at the dollar store, and I couldn't find one. I'm sure that they probably were there, and you might have one around. But either a magnifying glass that you can examine something with, or I found this. It's a ruler, and I like the idea of being able to measure things. And it's like, and the disciples, when they see Jesus, they're always, and the people around Jesus are always measuring him. How does Jesus measure up to God? How does Jesus measure up to being the Messiah? Some of this language in that you might not want to use in a children's sermon, but still, it's how does it measure up? But the thing about this ruler is that it is also a magnifying glass. This little segment right here, it magnifies the text, and I don't even know if you're going to be able to see you see how that magnifies the text. So this idea that you could actually hold this up and it makes the text a little bit larger, but it's a magnifying glass in that way. So that's what I'm going to end up using. Is that when we look at this, I have a hard time seeing the text, I have a hard time seeing the words, and this actually helps me see it a little bit larger, a little bit closer, a little bit more in detail. And here in the Transfiguration, we get to see Jesus in this special way. And it makes sense that the disciples want to keep him there, because this is when we witness God in special ways, that's what we want to do. But we are then sent into the world. And we can pull it back, we can draw it back into the text, into the worship experience, that in communion we experience God in a special way. And when we share the peace, we experience God in a special way. And then when we are sent out into the world, we can then look and see all the ways that we can experience God in a particular way, because God's always calling and sending and moving us. So anyway, that's the idea I'm going with, is this magnifying glass and being able to see Jesus in the world, to see Jesus and God in a very special way, and a more close-up and defined way, because using the magnifying glass you can see the details. So if this Sunday is the Sunday, if you have it in your practice that you hide the Alleluia, this is the last Sunday before Lent, so you either can hide it, if you hide it in this worship service, if you put it away sometime, or if you wait until next Sunday and you hide the Alleluia. I want to give you my idea about how I hide the Alleluia. We have a banner that we hide the Alleluia. It hangs up, and we pull it down, and I wrap it up. Or if you just have a piece of paper and you want to write Alleluia and have the kids decorate the butcher paper with the Alleluia. And then I have, right in front of the altar, I have a box. Here we actually have the old wooden box that works great, but I've used a tube, a cardboard tube. I've used a cardboard box that we can fold it up, but we fold up the Alleluia, we put it in the box, and I put it right in front of the altar. And I talk about how we're hiding the Alleluia, but it is the worst, it's the worst game of hide and seek ever, because we all know where the Alleluia is. We all know it's right there, and I point to the box. And I always say, every children's sermon throughout Lent, I'll say, now, where is that word that we hid? And everyone can point. Because on Easter, we pull it back, and I say, now where's the Alleluia? And we all point to the box, and we can open it up, and we can shout Alleluia. But if you're thinking about hiding, if you have hidden the Alleluia before, or you haven't, but that's one way to do it, which I really like, because we know the end of the story. We know the end, and I love the idea of just tying it in, where we have that there, and we know it's there. We've chosen not to say it, but we know that it's there. So I hope this can be springboards for your own thinking about your children's sermons, and as always, thanks for stopping by, and I hope you have a fantastic week.